Hey, shalom, shalom. Let me see if my microphone is on. All right. I think it's on. And let me check online. It's going to be a real quick video. My lunchtime thoughts before I go back to work. And, I was talking to some people the last few days. And I've already known this, but I've come to a deeper conclusion. You got to let things be, not just people be, but certain things, certain situations. You got to let people be, because he said something. Because what it boils down to, everything is biblical prophecy, and including the Most High's judgment. And let me see if this is working. I think it's working. Everything is biblical prophecy, and it's the Most High's judgment. And sometimes people, they're part of that judgment. And these might be people close to you. It might be family members. You got to let things be. And I don't know if that makes sense. It should make sense. In other words, how we have this saying, put it in God's hands, or it's in God's hands now. We got to really, take that to heart in our spirits and in our travels, especially now. So, I'm watching the Charlie Kirk thing. And I'm just watching how stupid people are. People can be real stupid at times. Then you got people that's so dumb, they just believe everything that's on social media, including the news. You know that the news, or the majority of it, unless you have wisdom and you in the spirit of the Most High, you know that the news is ran by the elites, man. And it's ran by the so-called J people. They have a heavy influence on what you get in the media. And a lot of the stuff that's in the media is absolute trash. And everything is for a purpose. And a lot of things that's in the media is trash. It's trash, and it's used to be pumped into your mind and have you lose your mind. You understand? Or point you in the wrong direction. And some people, no matter what you say, they're going to stick with that. I was talking to someone earlier, and I was trying to explain to this particular person that the wicked, they have a purpose and an agenda. And there's nothing we can do to change those agendas unless the Most High wills it. Part of the agenda biblically is that America must be destroyed. It has to be destroyed. And some people can't wrap that around their minds. You got people today who don't believe in biblical prophecy. They don't believe that this country is going to crash and fall. Even if you don't believe in God, let's suppose you don't believe in God. You got to be absolutely stupid to not know historically that every major empire, it falls at some point. It falls. But you got people who are so stupid, so ignorant, they can't see that. So stupid and so ignorant, they can't see that at some point this country will fall. Every great empire, it falls. Everyone. Every single one. I believe it's of God. But let's say, hypothetically, you don't believe it's of God. Hypothetically, you don't believe in God. You should have enough common sense to know that every empire falls at some point in time, and America is showing all the signs of not just hatred within, but hatred without. But like I always say, the beast is undefeated to a large extent, the beast being America. The beast will not fall unless God sanctions it. You understand? So here we go again. You got in Venezuela, you got in Venezuela training his own civilians, getting them prepared for war. I don't know if this is a hoax. I don't know if this is a joke. But one thing I do know, no one defeats the beast unless it's of the Most High. And you have to respect the powers that be. See, when you know God and you know the prophecies and you know scriptures, you know that everything on this planet is spiritual within action. Everything is spiritual within the action consisting of death and destruction and pain and sorrow. The Most High, He controls all those things. But you have people in 2025 who still don't get it through their thick skulls that God rules. Then on a low level, like I mentioned earlier, historically, every empire falls. Every empire falls at some point or another. So this is why I say you got stupid people on both sides of the spectrum. You have overly religious followers of white Jesus or just religion, period, who don't see the fall of America, or if they see it, they don't see it the proper way. Then you have people who don't believe in God, but they think America is going to continue forever. Both sides really believe in ignorance that America is going to keep thriving, at least for the most part. And the ones who do believe America is going to be destroyed, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that at all. You understand what I'm saying? They just want to continue to be stupid and just follow stupidity. Bottom line, it says the U.S. It says the USA in Bible prophecy. It's kind of difficult to read this, so forgive me. It says, can it really be truth? United. Oh, this is kind of wrong. Truth, the United States in Bible prophecy. Absolutely. See some white scholars, they know. They say absolutely. Can it be truth or of truth that the United States is in biblical prophecy? Absolutely. Revelations 18, the 18th chapter alone is a clincher. It says, when you think about it, it makes sense that the most powerful, check it out, it makes sense that the most powerful and influential nation on earth, the most powerful and the nation with the most influence on this earth, which is spiritual Babylon, spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt. And there's no country on this earth that has the influence or the attraction or the lure to want to come into this place as America. Name me a country. Name me a wicked country or even a righteous country, if you could find that, that's on the same level or above America, where people are just dying to get into. Dying and fighting and lying and cheating to get into. Name me a country. Name me a country. This is why Donald Trump has such an influence in the political world. He has flipped the political world on a whole different axis right now. There's never been a president in his wickedness, in his dark mindset as a Donald Trump, and at the same time glorified. No president has ran for the seat of the presidency and has done what he has done. None. Now prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Is it one of the Kennedys? Is it Reagan? Is it Bill Clinton? Black people love Bill Clinton. And it's all a big deception at the bottom, at the end of the day. It's all deception. And people they refuse to accept that reality. And it's all good. It's all good. You know why? Because at the end of the day, we're going to see. And when it hits, people are going to be totally unprepared, just like in Venezuela. Get it back. Sorry about that. Just like in Venezuela. I'm going to show you in a second. I'm just trying to get myself set up. I'm not going to really be here that long anyway. Get myself set up. Just let me get that in there. There you go. So check this out. But the point is, no country is like America. And America is in biblical prophecy. How can a country this powerful, this threatening, this evil not be in biblical prophecy? We're not talking about Hawaii. We're not talking about Trinidad or Jamaica or island in the Caribbean. We're not even talking about Peru or any country like in South America or the Far East or China. They're written in Scripture under their biblical names, some of them, but no country is like America. That's the point I'm trying to point out. No country on this earth is like America. But again, it says, when you think about it, it makes sense that the most powerful and influential nation on earth will play a vital role, a vital role in the final stunning events. In the final stunning events. That's what we're waiting for. At least some of us. The world is final stunning events of world's closing history. Closing history. The end. But even more surprises await you as the Bible reveals how the leading nation of the world came to exist, and why. So I'm not going to go any further into that. But considering that you got these idiots thinking that they're going to overthrow America, man, or they're going to defend themselves against the beast. Look at this. Let me see. Can you see that? Yeah. It says Maduro, I believe is the president of Venezuela, has started weapon training for civilians, hoping that they will fight against U.S. Marines if the U.S. would invade Venezuela. Check this joke out. Check this out. They look horrible. Horrible. And what's crazy in the comments, somebody put, they got to be truthful Americans, as far as if they were the recruit or force them to fight, look equally out of shape. Equally out of shape. But this is an absolute joke. Look at this. Completely stupid and out of, just look crazy. Here's another one. Let me see what this one says. That's just a picture of this one. Let me go back. Get rid of that one. Look at her, man. You think that this is going to fight against a trained Marine or someone into special ops? You think she has a chance? The same thing with these Negroes in the hood talking about they can't wait for the military to come in the hood. You actually think they're prepared to go to war against the beast? It's absolutely ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. But this is what we're dealing with, man. Let me see if I can find that story. All right. Here it says, Nicolás Maduro, government began training civilians on weapons handling and other military tactics in September 2025. The exercises are a response to what the Venezuelan government views as escalating threats from the United States, the beast, from the United States, including a military buildup in the Caribbean and U.S. strikes on vessels accused of drug trafficking. Now, you do think that Venezuela got a chance against America, man? Are you kidding? Do you really believe that Venezuela has a chance against America? I'm bringing this up to show you that some people, their mindsets are just warped. And us as followers and believers, we have to separate from people of that mindset. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying be mean and be disrespectful. I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying to be standoffish. Just have the mindset that everyone is not going to believe what you're talking about or what you believe or what you know. Everybody's not going to be on that page, man. Shalom. Everybody's not going to be in the same mindset that you're in. That's what I'm trying to show you. And it can be very frustrating trying to convince someone to see God, feel God, know God, and deal in God. It can be very frustrating. So to save yourself to all the frustration and aggravation, train your minds. Train your minds to just don't say nothing, man. To just don't say nothing. Sometimes it's better just not to say nothing at all. I'm telling you, it's just better to say nothing at all than to put yourself through a whole lot of stress and have you all crazy and out of shape. Spiritually, I'm talking about. Understand? Because the beast is here for a reason. The beast is here to deceive the world, and have the ones who are deceived burn up when this country is judged. And a lot of people are going to have a struggle trying to get around that, or accepting that rather. Here in Revelations 12, verse 3, very basic scripture. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. It says, and they appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads excuse me, and having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns were upon his head. Meaning, this is not talking about an actual dragon. This is talking about a ruling class of people, so-called white people. You understand? Or the children of Esau. And notice how it says 7 crowns upon his head, meaning he was a ruler, or they were rulers on this earth. You understand? So you're not going to go against what God set up. And what God set up, no man will defeat. You understand? Even if he's the most wicked people on this earth, no man will defeat this beast who wears a crown of rulership on their heads, meaning spiritually, they were ordained by God to rule. Nobody is going to overthrow that power. So you got all these people protesting, thinking they're going to make America different. They're going to make America more democratic. They're going to change the flow of America and how America has been for so long. They're going to change that. They're not going to change that. Everything is going in the direction of the Most High's judgment. Let me show you something real quick. Everything is going in the direction of the Most High's judgment, and no man is changing that. No woman is changing that. This man will not change. We read that earlier, some weeks ago, in Isaiah 26:10, I think it is, or the other way around, 10:26, that though favor be shown to the wicked, he won't change his ways. Something to that result or effect. But here, look at these idiots. They think they're going to change this man from doing what he's doing through their protests. Check it out.
And anti-ICE protests in Chicago turning violent. Agents had to use tear gas and rubber bullets to control the crowds. Mike Tobin live near a migrant detention center just outside of Chicago. Hi, Mike.
And Dana, bright and early Monday morning, the protesters are here. No major incidents so far this morning. A lot of vulgar language as they shout at the employees going from work. And they're heckling the agents as they arrive here. It was a different scene on Friday when the agents had to use tear gas, flashbangs, and some pepper spray to control the situation out here. The numbers vary depending on who is doing the reporting.
Everybody wants to be an American. Everybody wants to come to Babylon. Everybody wants to be a part of the beast. You got migrant situations in Europe and various countries, but not like America. Not like America. You name me a place better to go where you can make top bank. On large scales, of course, large scales of people. You can go to other countries and make money, good money. But America is the beast and the great Satan. It's not called that for nothing. And people want to be here.
But ICE says they picked up some 16 people on Friday. That, of course, generated criticism from the Democrat Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who posted on X, "We're monitoring the ongoing federal deployments that are instilling fear in our communities. Americans have the right to peaceful assembly and to make their voices heard, even if the Trump administration won't follow the law."
And see, now, and this is where it's going. They're saying the Trump administration won't follow the law. But what is the law on migrants coming into this country? Are you a criminal if you sneak into this country? Are you a criminal if you're getting free taxpayer money and you're skipping the line of the people who try to come into this country legally? You see what a liar he is? Then Trump is a liar too in certain cases. So you got one devil fighting against another devil. One devil trying to give another devil pushback, and the migrants are in the middle of it. Black people are in the middle of it. Legal so-called Latinos are in the middle of it. So it's all a lie. The simple believeth every word. But the prudent man, he's going to check things out. He's going to see what makes sense, the prudent man. But you see, it's just a ball of goddamn lies. It's just lies. It always has been lies. That's what I'm trying to make you see. Then you got this whole thing with Charlie Kirk, and they want to make a martyr out of him, and he wasn't racist, but then he was racist. Then you see video footage of him saying racist things. But now I'm hearing that he was against that war in Iran. He was against the war in Iran, or the situation in Iran. He didn't agree with Trump wholeheartedly. That's what I'm hearing. So who knows if they took him out because of that, or who knows if he was a sacrifice because they don't want the stuff to come out that was happening on Sex Island with Jeff Epstein. So they do that. They create a major event to have you focus on that major event, and then behind the scenes, all type of things are being hidden and shuffled around, and the lie has been smothered from coming out into the light. This is how the country really works. And a lot of you're just being really stupid, man. You're just being really, really stupid. Because you know damn well a lot of what Trump is saying is the truth. If money is going out to the foreign countries, then the devil on this side should get money coming in from the foreign countries. In other words, if I sell you something for $10 and you charge me $10, it should be the same way in the reverse. You know there's nothing wrong with that. But the country is corrupt. The government is corrupt. You know migrants shouldn't be collecting no damn Section 8. How you just got here a year ago and you're collecting taxpayer Section 8 or getting special debit cards in sanctuary states? You know goddamn well that's not right. Or you get arrested and you're put back on the streets in a matter of weeks or days. You know goddamn right that's not right, and it's all political. But you're focused on Trump and the Trump, he's this and that, and he is this and that, but that shouldn't be your focal point. Your focal point should be the absolute truth and what works. You shouldn't be involved in that period if you're a man of the Most High. You should know that America is Babylon. You shouldn't be getting so political that you're more political or politician-minded than a man of the Most High. I love getting under your skin about it. I love getting under your skin about it because it shows how far I can push you. But look at this. Absolute craziness. Absolutely. Not going to be long. I get out of here.
We will. Gregory Bavino, who came here with the influx of Border Patrol agents, responded to Pritzker's criticism.
Perhaps Governor Pritzker would do well to realize the danger that his law enforcement officers are in every day because he chooses illegal aliens over American citizens. He chooses to allow.
Is that true? In general and overall, have the illegals received benefits and money and funds and a better living standard or a living standard above the homeless and the veterans and average U.S. citizens who can't make ends meet? Have the migrants who came here by the thousands, have they benefited more toward the American dream, benefited more towards financial stability than average Americans or poor Americans or homeless Americans? Is that true? You know it's true. You know goddamn well it's true. And then the ones who know it's true that are in Chicago or Baltimore or New York or poor states seeing what's happening, you can't blame them for flipping out and being mad. And what's going to happen? It's going to cause major tension, and somebody's going to get shot. Somebody's going to get shot, and all hell is going to break loose. And Donald Trump is not going to be able to contain it. He's not. And the media is going to blow it out of control because they want this man out of office. And at the same time, the elite, they're pulling the strings at the top. But you dummies, you're getting all caught up into this, and you're starting to believe everything you're hearing instead of reading between the lines. That's what's happening. And it's a goddamn shame that people could be so damn stupid. It's shameful that people could be so goddamn stupid, man. Hey, Shalom, brother. Not going to be long. I had something I want to get off my chest before I go back to the job. You know, and that's another thing I was thinking about. I think the Most High got a job at least, man. Because when you have money coming in, it takes the edge off, man. I think the Most High, I can pay some bills and every once in a while have a slice of pizza and some water or even some wine. I kid you not. Because they're saying that the country is doing well. I don't believe the country is doing exactly well. I believe that people are splurging and spending money to feel good. They call it emotional spending. I believe that. But then I'm hearing about student loans not being paid back. I'm hearing about people getting evicted. People are getting foreclosed on, and cars. Oh my God, the cars. You know, the repo man is making a fortune. So you put all that on the table, man, and the country's not doing so well. And the same way they're trying to create these sanctions on Russia and various countries are putting the pressure or the boot on the neck, the American, the red, white, and blue boot on people's necks. The same way they're trying to do that, America's not doing so great herself financially, and that's the Most High. The Most High said, okay, you're going to put sanctions on this country and embargoes on that country. I'm going to hit you in your pockets. This is the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he's real. He's real. But check out it. Let's finish this up because I got to get out of here.
Illegal alien gang members by the thousands into Chicago and Illinois. That's the real danger.
Now, protesters promise that they will not let up.
What's happening in the country is terrible. We are an autocracy. We are in a fascist government.
She's saying we're in a fascist country. A fascist country. Just a few years ago, you couldn't even go in the supermarket with your mask on. You had to stand 6 feet behind someone. Your kids couldn't go into school. And then we finding out that was that a lot of that was just damn crap. We're finding out how many people lost jobs because they weren't vaccinated. How many people had to vaccinate their children in order for their kids to go to school? Your kids have the right to go to school, but your kids can't go to school because they're not vaccinated. But she's saying the one side is fascist. When her side created laws where you couldn't get a job or you had to leave your job because you wouldn't take the jibby jab. Now we find out all over the world when people are just dropping down. I'm not going to say why. Dropping down dead. We're finding out that doctors and or people who are committed to taking in dead bodies years later, they're doing autopsies and they're finding this white substance in the majority of, not the majority, but a good amount of the bodies that they're opening up. Where is this white stuff? This crap that's building up in the body that they're finding in bodies when they do autopsies. Where is this coming from? It wasn't there prior to 2019. They didn't find this substance in dead bodies. So where's this coming from? You know damn well where it's coming from. But she's talking about fascism and they're stealing the democracy. This whole thing is a goddamn lie, man. It's a goddamn lie.
Our democracy is drifting away. It's eroding.
Now, the gates at this temporary facility have opened a few times this morning. At one point, we saw a number of agents come out. It seemed that the number of agents matched the number of protesters who were on the ground. There were a couple of agents on the roof with a pepper ball gun.
Let it heat up, brothers and sisters. Let it heat up. You stay out of it. Watch these devils explode and destroy each other. You stay out of this. Has nothing to do with you. Don't say, "Well, I'm American, McQuash." You're not an American. You are a slave. You are a slave. You understand what I'm saying? And everybody realizes this except us, man. Outside of the country. We're slaves, and everybody realizes by now that America is the great Satan. And they call Israel the little Satan. Check it out. Sorry for speeding through this, too. I got to go back to work. Sorry about that.
The question of the impact of radical Islam to young people really is an issue that's much greater than what the gathering on Capitol Hill, this hearing, was willing to address. Unfortunately, the way in which it was presented to the Islamic world was very much focused on what I would call a quasi-witch hunt. Now, people can disagree with that point of view. I think what's important here is to understand how that gets played out in MENA, the Middle East and North Africa. When we have a hearing on Capitol Hill, do we ever think that the pictures that are taken of a congressman who's a Muslim in tears?
His life should not be identified as just a member of an ethnic group or just a member of a religion.
How does that play to 44 million people?
Everybody around the world is crying out because of the great Satan. Everybody around the world can't take it no more. It's too much BS. And everybody's feeling the end, not just for America, but the end of this regime that's ruling the earth now, the great Satan. Everybody's feeling it. And everybody sees what's happening. Remember I read earlier, right here, I'm going to go right back here again real quick. It says that Let's go to the cut. It says, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. Then when you jump down to the 9th verse, it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. Who is deceiving the whole world? Who has the power? Perhaps it's a Roman Catholic Church or just a military itself, or some group or company that goes all around the world and poisons people with drugs like WHO, World Health Organization, or Blue Cross, or whoever. Who has the most power to do that above the United States or Esau, the so-called W man, the big W man? Who else has the power to not only be like the great Satan, but destroy the great Satan? And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. The whole world. Job 9:24 says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So that don't fit nobody but one group, one people, and one rulership. You understand what I'm saying? Back here.
In Egypt, who were living in a very difficult time. And what does it say about the way in which this country treats Muslims, especially if you've never been here before? We have to understand as a country that what we say and what we do is received instantaneously by a very, very large group of people who are underclassed and who are hungry. And quite frankly, those who would want to do us harm from across the sea understand that. And so it's sometimes not that difficult to recruit some young kid who's still trying to figure out who they are and what they're going to do.
Do you get it? He says it's not so difficult to face or deal with someone that would want to do this country great harm. And it's not hard to find someone who's hungry, because he mentioned the word hungry, or he included that in his statement. When you're poor and hungry and you know where the pain and the wickedness is coming from, it's easy to recruit young soldiers to go against the very beast that's acting beastly and turning your people into beasts, and having you eat like a beast, through their poisonous foods and taking their poisonous drugs and taking a poisonous ideology. It's very easy to recruit young men who hate this country and hate who rules this country. It's not hard at all.
To say America really is the great Satan.
There you go. One more time. There you go.
To say America really is the great Satan.
Here you got a priest of the Roman Catholic Church, most likely, who understands this. Shalom, brother. Very interesting. He understands this. It's only us who are ignorant and don't accept the Most High who can't understand this. But us as believers, we know that the old serpent called the devil and Satan, the great Satan, which deceiveth the whole earth, but not just deceiveth the whole earth, rules this earth. Rules this earth. Not hard to see. Not hard to see at all. So you brothers and sisters, you stay out of this garbage that's out here, man. You stay out of it, man. Don't get caught up into this foolishness. You understand? Because these idiots really think they're going to go up against this beast and they're going to win. They really think that. They think they're going to go up against this beast and they are going to win. Here's some instructions from the Most High right here before I close out. It says, Ecclesiastes, the 37th chapter, I think it's 37, right? 37, verse 12. It says, the Lord says, but be continually with a godly man whom thou knowest keepeth the commandments of the Lord. Hang out with these type of brothers and sisters, whose mind is according to thy mind. So they believe what you believe. Ain't no pushback or, getting angry. They believe what you believe. So this is a man whose mind or spirit that's like yours, and will sorrow with thee when thou miscarry. When you mess up, they're always going to be with you. They're not going to hate on you. They're not going to speak badly about you. They're not going to kick your back in behind closed doors. They're not going to speak gossip about you. They're going to support you because they're in the same mindset as you, being in the Most High and keeping the commandments. 13th verse says, and let the counsel of thy own heart stand, for there is no man more faithful unto thee than it. So your counsel is of the Most High. So what comes in your mind, or what wisdom comes into your mind, that's your counsel, or the counsel of your own heart. Follow that. Don't follow the government. Don't follow the news all the time. Follow what's in your heart. Of course, your heart has to be in the Most High. For a man's mind is sometimes want to tell him more than 7 watchmen that sitteth above in a high tower. So your mind can take you places of protection and comfort that common man can't take you. That the liars, whether it's the left, right, Republican, Democrats, they don't got nothing on the counsel that's in your mind that's of the Most High. Follow the spirit of the Most High. Train yourselves not to be emotional. Train yourselves not to be gullible and simple. Follow the spirit that the Most High is guiding you with. 14th verse. For a man's mind is sometimes want to tell him more than 7 watchmen that sitteth above in a high tower. And above all this, what we just read, the Lord said, and above all this, pray to the Most High that he will direct your way in truth. Pray to the Most High that he will direct your way in truth. So don't get caught up into these fools and these idiots and their emotions, man. Don't get caught up into that. Know one thing, that America's Babylon, in the world, except us, in our ignorance and our foolishness, we can't see that America is the great Satan and Israel is the little Satan. You understand? When I say we can't see, I'm talking about our people who are foolish, not you brothers and sisters. Recognize that. You have the great Satan and you have the little Satan. And the Most High, because of the spirit that's in you, that spirit is telling you more than 10 or 7 watchmen. I can't remember what it said. It's telling you more than that. The spirit is talking to you and is guiding you to do the right thing. Follow the spirit of the Most High. Stay strong in the Most High and don't let nobody frustrate you out the Most High. You're almost there, man. You're almost there. It's going to be a long battle, but check it out. You're almost there. Do what's right in the Most High. I'm out.